So Sergeant Johnson, when you were near the beachhead, did you see the battleships firing the big guns?
There were
What was
no
that like?
battleships. We didn't see any battleships. They had been there before then. They were gone. We watched some F-4U planes take off from the strip, circle them out and drop a bomb, land, load up, go again, and they would do that all day long. Bombing, yeah.
That's amazing. F-4U-1 Corsairs, the 1A, I think, was the primary land attack aircraft for the Marine Corps. So you got to see those doing that. What was it like being on the Pilo Island itself? What was its terrain like? Was it like in Woodbury?
Well, they had the island was only about 4 or 5 miles long, was kind of common shaped, and the airstrip was on the southern tip of the island. And when we watched the airplanes about 2 days when we were on the troop ship, and we finally got a place to land, and we crawled over the nets and dropped down, and they finally found a spot to pull up on the beach and drop us off. So that was my entry to Bellevue.
Fabulous. So Don, was it hot there, or was it kind of like this? Was it hot? Was it hot there and humid?
Yes,
or?
it was hot. It was hot.
And did you have plenty to drink? Did they?
Well, yeah, we had water.
Yeah.
We had canteens full. They brought water in for us.
Great. The island itself was a coral atoll, as I understand. There's lots of coral hanging around.
Right.
What were you doing Marines always dig foxholes. I mean, if you're standing around, dig a foxhole, right? Unlike submariners.
We didn't drink. We couldn't know. We tried digging foxholes, and it was just like concrete. So we found some big boulders and rolled them up in a kind of a circle and stepped in there.
So there were no foxholes. I find that quite interesting in your comments that you let me read a couple weeks ago. That they did circle the big stones. I imagine that you get several comrades and position the stones, and instead of diving into the foxholes, you got behind the stones.
Yeah, we had big boulders about that big and rolled them together and slept inside of that.
Totally different. So that's a totally different aspect I would have never thought of.
Right.
Yeah. So Sergeant Johnson, when you got on the island, what was your specific responsibility?
Well, I was with the telephone company, and I think we had about 15 guys in our group. And we got on the island, and there was nothing for us to do, so we were assigned to work with the 1st Marine Division. I was with the 1st Marine Air Wing, and they assigned us to work with the 1st Marine Division. So we were stringing lines all over the island, mostly on the ground. So, because there weren't a lot of trees left.
Yeah. T-Mobile would have made a killing. You did your best, so that's well done. So Don, that was important work. Intelligence is king on the battlefield. Intelligence is very important on the battlefield, and they got that through your telephone lines. And so stringing those lines up was important duty. How many of your comrades in arms were lost stringing up those lines?
I can hear you.
How many of your colleagues, your fellow Army, your Marine Corps guys, how many were killed stringing those lines up? Because as I
I
understand,
don't know, there was hardly any trees left, so everything was mostly on the ground. And I think they eventually got some telephone poles up. But originally everything was strung on the ground, laid down. They had, yeah.
and what he told me about earlier is that phone lines on the ground and mortar shells that blowing up the ground also blow up the phone lines, hence the need for telephone poles.
Right.
So, very good. Sergeant Johnson, what was the relationship between the Marines and the Army? You worked at the Island Command Center.
They set up an island command with the Army, Navy, and Marine Corps, and and we all worked under an Army captain. He was in charge of our group. And we set up telephone lines, switchboards, and stuff like that on the island.
And you guys all got along really well, right? You said that Army captain was fabulous, right?
Right, yeah, we had an Army captain, we were assigned to him, or he was assigned to us. And I don't know how many guys, we had about 25, 30 guys worked together in a cell phone company.
Yep, so here's a Marine Corps veteran saying that one of his best commanding officers ever was in fact an Army captain. I'm glad Don Patton isn't here to hear that. So Sergeant Johnson, I know that once you got on shore, you saw some welding arcing going on one of the hillsides on the island. What was all that about?
Oh, we landed, they had a big mountain ridge came down the middle of the island, and on the end they had a big cave, or a cave dug in the hills. And they had a 8-inch gun in there. And they had a track, and they'd roll that out at night and shoot that 8-inch shells around the island. And we looked up there one night, and there was some flashing, and the Seabees were up there welding the doors shut. They couldn't open the doors.
Quite effective. Now, because our airplane bombs couldn't put that cave out of commission, so the Seabees
No, they'd open these doors and push this big gun out, and they'd bring it back in again.
Yeah.
So the Seabees went out and welded the doors shut.
Okay, so that's
That fixed that.
Yeah, thank you. Jim is saying, the Seabees motto is "can do." How about that? That's a great story. That's a great story. Thanks so much for that exposition on your experience on that island. And that was Petey, so again, a very key battle that you were part of. And thank you so much.
I never kept track of any of the guys, so last time we had a round table like this, one of the guys was in the Navy, was a guy I grew up with. And he was there, and I think there was 6 or 7 of us over at Fort Snelling.
Yeah. Well, Don, we're so glad you're here with us tonight.
Okay.
Our World War II veteran, you did a great job. You did an A.
Thank you.